want to start with the recesses. Don't want to go too heavy on them. Even though this is an oil wash, what we want to make sure is that it's an orange, well, despite the name Casandora Yellow, is an orange wash. So what we want to do is make sure that the wash doesn't turn our yellow paint into orange paint. Otherwise, that defeats the purpose of painting it yellow in the first place. So what we want to do is we want to take it panel by panel. Here I'm working on the back side of the legs. That's generally some of the areas where we're going to want it to be darkest by virtue of the shading of the model. Again, that's part of the benefit of starting with the zenithal, because the idea with the zenithal is that the light catches naturally wherever it hits the model. So you'll notice down here around the ankles, the underarms, the back side of the jetpack, what that does is that makes some natural shadows within the armor. And when you have that natural shadow, that's naturally going to be a darker shade of yellow or a really dark brown when we're working with that yellow. So let's go back to the back side of the leg. I'm going to load up my brush with a little bit more watered down Casandora Yellow. I'm going to go right under here. We can see that it's turning the brown into a little bit brighter orange, but that's okay. Can I do something with Deathcore Creed? They're my favorite part of 480K. I actually have a Deathcore Creed model somewhere on my desk. I bought the what's it called? The Combat Patrol. No, not the Combat Patrol. The Kill Team. I bought the Kill Team set a couple of years ago. I primed them all Corax white, but I've just never gotten around to painting them after that. But yes, I love the Deathcore Creed. I would love to finally finish off painting them. They look really good in the Corax white. Who was that? The Chili 9540. They look really good in the Corax white. It is a shame that they got rid of that primer, but I bet they would look just as good in Gray Seer. I guess if you do it in Gray Seer, you have the benefit of working from that darker color, and that will help you build up some lighter colored trench coats, whether you were looking for a tan or for a medium gray. There we go. Don't want it to pool too much. Okay, sometimes I love having this little dark colored square be a bright color. When I can pull it off, it looks great. Most of the time, I usually can't pull that off because oh shoot, what's it called? Just the shade of my Casandora Yellow is a little too dark for it. But we can see that it's kind of shading up in there. So yeah, there we go. This leg is already coming off looking pretty nice. Got the shade where I really want it, and without sacrificing some of that yellow. So let's go back to the back side of this other leg. Get under the ankles. Here's the tricky bit. I'm going to try to shade it back here without trying to get it on the cloth armor. Okay. Might have to pull out my painting handle. I'm noticing that I keep putting the model out of use, so of the camera, so having it on this little stand will help. There we go. That looks much better. There we go. So now let's take it back to this other side, and we'll shade in the backside of this leg here. Make sure to get under the armor. Wow, 1,000 likes already. Thank you all so much. I didn't expect to get this many this quickly. Or at all. So let's take it back to the top of the foot. We got just a little bit of orange popping through, or popping out of the recess. I think with this darker shade, that'll help give it a natural highlight. I think when I get to it, I will plan on highlighting this model with phalanx yellow and, let's see, Dorn yellow dot highlights. So, just having a little bit orange in there will be really nice. So there we go. Got to make sure to get under the cabling there. Don't want to accidentally paint that orange. What I am thinking of doing is shading this bottom one Basilicanum Gray because it already looks like a piping hose. Not sure what color to make this top hose. I'm debating either green or orange. Well, no, not orange, red. Maybe Flesh Terror's red contrast matte. Chili, thank you for the 1,000 likes. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and maybe Flesh Terror's red with some nuln. How do you say that? NULN oil over that. That could look real good on it. If you got any opinions, though, on what color I should make this top pipe, I'll happily take them. So here we go. The most important thing that I like to do when making sure, when we're doing these recess shadings, is to make sure that we do it just a panel at a time. Get the whole panel covered, then make sure we go to the next one. So here we go. We're going to load up our brush with the Cassandora Yellow again. And now we're going to go for this pauldron. So here we go. Gonna take it at the top. Oh, out of camera. There we go. There we go. Look how that shoulder pauldron's just lapping that oil up. That's love. That's the one of the things I love best about shading paint or shade paint. It's quick way to add some definition and make it look like it's got some real depth to it. So there we go. So when you add your highlights, for me that's going to be the Phalanx Yellow and the dot Dorn Yellow highlight. That will be a very fun way to make sure that armor stands out. I think other mini painters call it non-metallic metal. Boy, the stuff other mini painters can do, is really fantastic. So I'm in a growth mindset. Whatever I try to do, I can at least say I'm getting better every day. Oh, look at that. Look at how that Cassandora Yellow is filling out the top side of these ports as well as the gap between the forearm and the elbow. Really liking how that's turning out. Let's see, I also see that I missed a little spot back here. Just under the thigh, the back side of the thigh. So I'm going to go back and shade that back in real quick. Got to be careful not to hit the cloth. What I'm thinking of doing for this cloth is giving it what's it called? Morghast bone. Morghast bone. Then I'm going to put some Skeleton Horde contrast paint over it. Dry brush it with Wraithbone. And yeah, I think that'll be a nice looking cloth when that's all finished. After that, I'm not sure where to... it probably could be nice to do some kind of edge highlighting on that cloth when it's finished. Otherwise, just make it catch the light. I'm not sure what color brighter than Wraithbone be good for it. Maybe I'll mix a little bit of... oh shoot, I have this Vallejo I'm really fond of. What I'd probably do is I'd probably mix it with that Wraithbone and then use it on these raised edges. So that'd be this little fold right here, this little thing that's folded over here, and this dot. Otherwise, I'd let that dry brush Wraithbone carry most of the definition for that. So, let's go back to the chest piece. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it that depth with Cassandora. I'm going to try not to get this Agula. Granted, eventually we'll go over it with a Retributor armor. So it's okay if I get like a little bit of Cassandora on there, because it'll be covered right away with that, oh shoot, what's it called? A base paint? Yeah, base color. That Cassandora. No, excuse me, Cassandora is a shade. The Retributor. So I guess one thing I should consider doing, since this armor is a little darker, when I get around to painting this gold Agula, what I'll probably do is, when I paint it Retributor gold, I'll, instead of shading it with my normal Agrax Earth shade, what I'll probably do is shade it with Seraphim Sepia. This model's already so dark that I think giving it a little brighter gold burst will help it stand out. So, yeah, I'll probably shade it with Seraphim Sepia, and then dry brush a little bit of Auric Gold armor. Auric Gold, I have a love-hate relationship with this Auric Armor Gold. Its texture's a little funky. Like, it's really, really thin. It's almost better applied as a dry paint, I feel like, because otherwise it just gets sticky all over those shaded elements of the Reichland Flesh shade. I never tried saying that out loud before. I didn't realize how much of a jumble it was. But yeah, that Reichland Flesh shade and the Agrax Earth shade. Now, you wouldn't think that'd be a problem if you're already working with those darker muted washes to begin with, but because it's just such a pain to work with while it's wet, the Auric Gold really loses that definition. So again, I like using that as something you dry brush rather than painting straight on like the Retributor. So I'm going to go back, try to get this underside one more time. Obviously, it's not something that most people will think about looking for when you're playing tabletop, but, it's one of those little things that all of us try to work for in making our miniatures look as good as they can. Wow, 2,900 likes. Chili, you are really carrying us here. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. So let's see. Here we go. We got pretty well the front done. We're gonna go back and we're gonna shade this arm right here. There we go. Oh, look how that Cassandora yellow is making that pop. You know, side by side, we can really see it's given that some life there. I did something a little different than I normally do for my yellow, and I airbrushed the Imperial Fist on. I just got an airbrush, trying it out, and so far it's been a fun way. 3,000 likes, thank you again. So far it's been a really fun way to experiment with different paints, different textures, and you know, as we get later on, we'll get to the different types of zenithal using the airbrush has worked out with. For example, I normally do a pink prime with a white zenithal, and that's always been fun to get, you know, a really bright pink out of models. This fella right here. This is one of the Blood Angel Space Marine Company Marines. I primed it with one of the Tamiya pinks, I forget which one, and then zenithaled it with White Scar, and that was a lot of fun. What I did was I went over it with Bad Moon Yellow. As we see here, that's where we got some of those bright orange recesses. One thing I did do different with this tactical marine than I did with most of my other Primaris line is I gave it, while I was trying out that Seraphim Sepia wash down here, we can see that it did give it that, hey, thanks for joining, Drake Jester. It did give it that little definition here in the kneecap, as well as the little square here and the upper thigh. But because we started out with that Tamiya pink and then added the White Scar and the Bad Moon Yellow, most of these orange highlights are actually just from that zenithal priming. However, I did decide in the end that it would look better if I gave the head that Cassandora shading rather than the Seraphim like everywhere else on the model. Oh, yeah, looks like I also did the Cassandora shading on this right pauldron too. So yeah, I really liked these Blood Angel Space Marine Company Marines because, you know, they were just fun little palette cleansers, fun ways to test out some different models, test out different painting ideas. You know, that was when I was a little newer to painting Lamenters, so I was very fond of testing all kinds of different methods to try to make them pop. I mean, you'll see over here on the side, here is a fistful of yellows. I got Army Painter Maze Yellow, I got Imperial Fist, got Bad Moon Yellow. Let's see, I even got Averland Sunset. What I was trying to do for a long time was use the water or the medium down Averland Sunset as a contrast paint. That didn't go well, but now that I have an airbrush, it's been a lot more fun to get it to work. This fella right here I did over Thanksgiving. I actually used the airbrush Averland Sunset on him, and I was actually really impressed with how it worked, with how it came out. Oh, another 1000K? Wow. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. But yeah, what I did was I started with a base primer of... Let's see, where is it? Yeah. I started with the base primer of Vallejo Air, and then I airbrushed this Liquitex acrylic ink over it. That was a lot of fun, and I think that really set the stage for the way this Averland Sunset was able to just smoothly apply over the model as a whole. The only thing that I think could have been better... Oh, what would that be in GW paint? Are you talking about the Liquitex? Or are you talking about the Vallejo, Luffy Dexter? Oh, yep. What would it be in the GW paint? I think the closest it would be... no, not Evil Sun Scarlet. It might be Flesh Terror's Red contrast paint. This is Corn Red, but Corn Red is pretty darn close to Flesh Terror's Red contrast paint. So what I would do, Luffy Dexter, is I would use the Flesh Terror's Red contrast paint for that. Another contrast paint that's really close to it, and now that I look at it side by side, might be a little bit closer, would be the Doomfire Magenta. There is or if you go onto the Lamenters subreddit, one of the big Lamenters painters prefers Doomfire Magenta as their base. I forget their name, but you just spend a few minutes on the subreddit and a bunch of his minis will show up. But yeah, he loves using the Doomfire Magenta through the airbrush. And then I think for his Zenithal, he uses the White Scar spray can. Now for the Liquitex, there isn't a great GW comparison because what it is, it's a straight ink, while the GW line uses the acrylic pigments instead of inks for their airbrushes. So obviously the White Scar rattle can is phenomenal. I don't say that about a lot of rattle cans, but the White Scar rattle can is simply amazing. So I would say use that instead of the White Scar airbrush paint. However, if you're dead set on using an airbrush paint, Matte White by Army Painter is definitely at least a better alternative than Air Paint White Scar. It is also an acrylic paint, like the airbrush White Scar, instead of a straight ink, so it will... Well, it's not just M-A-T-T, you can say it's M-A-T-T-E, it's a matte. So it will have some texture when it sprays. So if that is a problem, Liquitex ink is only $8 on Amazon. That's about the price of a regular GW airbrush paint. However, you know, like with any airbrush paint, you are going to want to make sure you medium that down. Most artists will recommend a 2-to-1 thinner to paint. I think Liquitex is more like 3-to-2. You can get away with 3 drops for every 2 drops of acrylic ink, just by virtue of how thin it already is. But if I were using the Army Painter matte white, I would definitely want to keep that 2-to-1 ratio, as well as if I were using the White Scar. But again, I would say I would rather use the White Scar rattle can than using the White Scar airbrush paint. So yeah, this is my preferred if you want to stick to acrylic. The acrylic ink. Yay, Lamenters! Woo! Thanks, Luffy. The acrylic ink just goes on so much smoother. I've enjoyed using it. However, I have had mixed results because if it goes on too thick, when you spray your yellow over top, what it ends up doing is giving it a neon look. Now, that's not necessarily a... Neon yellow's definitely a stylistic choice. I did like how it came out, but it is not what I wanted it to come out as. So what I did was I airbrushed it with Phalanx yellow to try to take back some of that neon shape as well as, or neon color, as well as make sure that it really had that flat definition like this model that I was looking for. So yeah, if I were dead set on making neon yellow marines, I know how to do it moving forward. That could be fun. Make Smash Captain with neon armor. You know, death comes at you at 200 miles an hour, painted neon yellow. Any orc dragster would be proud. So here we go, back in the paneling. We really want to make sure that we get that good definition. So I'm going to get that top part again. We can see that the Cassandora yellow is really filling in those recesses well. Let's make sure we get that here in the bottom. It still has that shadow from the zenithal, which is good. But that Cassandora yellow still gives it that, still makes that yellow pop. So it's that consistent bright to dark shading we get through the whole model. So I like that a lot. Here's one of the fun but scary bits that I love. Well, it's a love-hate relationship. I love the little vents on the back of the power pack. But I don't want it, you know, like I was saying earlier, if we go too heavy with the Cassandora yellow, that'll just turn that whole thing orange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my brush one more time. Going to peel off a little bit of that Cassandora yellow. And then I'm going to take it right back to the top. Oh, there we go. Slowly and surely, we're just going to fill out that whole little square. Then we'll go do the front of the pack to make sure that we put a decent amount of color into these lines. Here we go. Going to put my finger here to stabilize that. We're going to go along the inner edges to make sure that Cassandora yellow goes in those pockets. So there we go. Look at that orange. Yeah, I think that came out okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out. I'm going to fill out these lines from here to the yellow ball bearing. There we go. Going to work it front to back. And this is where the advantage of having done those pits already comes in handy, because then most of that color stays right here between the edge and in the middle. So that gives that a little raised edge highlight to begin with. Send another 1,000K. Well, hey, thank you, Chili. I appreciate it. Or 1,000. Yeah. Thanks, Chili. Appreciate it. It's my first time going live, so I'm a little bit nervous. I hope that's not coming through on my voice. So here we go, working front to back again. Nice. Look at that yellow. Oh, I really like how the shading's coming out. All right. So now we're going to go do the yellow balls on the side of the... Oh, hey, thanks, Chili. Thanks for hanging out with us. And thanks, everyone else, for joining me tonight as we help give this little yellow lamenter a little bit of life. What I like doing is I like going a little heavier on the underside of the ball first. Most of our oil is going to come off there. So then we can use whatever is left on the brush to hit the top half. That way we're not overloading the little ball bearing with too much yellow. Then we're going to use the very last bit to give this panel a little bit of definition. We don't want to hit it when we have a lot of paint on it, because then that'll obviously paint our... Oh, yep, Chili, I'll do more of these. Not sure when, but I'll keep an eye out for when I'm free. But I will want to make sure that the little panel gets that definition without mixing in with the white. Hi, Ariel. So there we go. Then we're going to go back to the other side of the panel, the underside of the ball bearing. And we're going to give it the majority of that Casandora yellow. Make sure that we're wicking off the brush as much as we can. Hi, Ariel. And then we're going to take that. Oh, thanks, Ariel. Appreciate it. And then we're going to hit the top. And it does not have the same level of depth as the shaded panels on the side, so I'm really happy with how that came out. All right. Just giving the model one more look over before I start doing the head. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do the back. This is why we check our work. So like we did for the back of the kneecaps, what happened to the 5K likes I sent? I don't know. I just assume it's TikTok being TikTok. Because TikTok is, well, TikTok. So we're going to hit the back of that model to make sure that it still gets that shading. Obviously, most of the people you're going up against on tabletop will never know, but will know, and that's what's the scary bit. Sometimes I find myself a little what's the word, defeatist. I find myself to be my own worst critic. There we go. Yeah. You are your own harshest critic, my dad says. So, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the side of the helmet first. See how that Casandora yellow is sticking to the definition of the sides. Really like how that's coming out. That's one of the reasons why I like to prime with pink or red. That gives that little extra pop once you get there. We're going to do the other side panel. And then we're going to use the rest that's wicked off to do this little head column in the middle. little Cruz Terminatus will eventually be colored some sort of gold or silver, but I'll just wick off a little bit of that extra Cassandora yellow there, so I can go in under the cheek, try not to get it in that eye lens, and do the outside of the triangular mask. There we go. I really like how that came out. My name is not Ariel, my name is Gabriel, just using my mom account. Well, it's great to meet you, Gabriel. So there we go. This is a well-primed and washed Lamenter. So I'm really happy with how this shading came out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him off in the middle where everyone can look at him. And then I'll pick up our next one we're shading. Let's see, did I shade this one? Yes. I can see now. There's some Cassandora yellow built up in here, in these panels, as well as the top part of the edge. No worries, Gabriel. Internet happens. I have Xfinity internet, so I completely understand. Sometimes it just goes out for no reason. But yeah, I'm real happy with how the Cassandora yellow looks on this particular marine. I airbrushed it with the Imperial Fist contrast paint, as well as Bad Moon yellow. This was one of the first experiments I did with the airbrush and the different contrast paints through airbrush. So I was real excited to try it out, compare and contrast how the different contrast paints work. I do think with that red base, we'll see. I hope you do more streams. Will do, Chili. That's the plan. I think the Imperial Fist yellow works best with the red and white zenithal. Once I get around to doing the white zenithal on these brown marines, I'm real excited to see how it looks with the Bad Moon yellow over it, because we'll have the browns doing most of the heavy lifting for the depth. So the Imperial Fist should make for nice definition. So let's check these guys one more time. We might be about ready to... Aw, thanks, Gabriel. Yeah, but I think the brown will do a great job setting up that definition for the Bad Moon yellow to give it some pop. Just to be safe, though, I probably will hit it with maize, at least a little bit of maize yellow, because it is pretty darn reliable through an airbrush. I do worry that it might be too light. Either way, I think that Phalanx yellow is going to pop best against that Burnt Sierra undercoat. What's it called? Base. But yeah, when in doubt, there's always Imperial Fist. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move these handsome fellas off to the side, and then I'll start priming my airbrush. So there we go. I'm going to put them out of the way over here. Got to be careful to make sure that Cassandora yellow doesn't rub off on my fingers. Then we'll put these other Terminators to the side. We'll follow up with that. Oh yeah, this was also red zenithal. What I did was I actually used the Vallejo as a base, but then I used Evil Sun Scarlet to do some of the very specific raised highlights. So we still had the red Vallejo here at the bottom, then then we did the top rim with the Evil Sun Scarlet, and then when I hit it with the acrylic ink, that's what gives it this extra orange bottom with the very bright orange top. Now granted, I love the concept that was able to be pulled off there, but I don't like how how it ended up a lot more orange than it did yellow. So I mean, it's still a fine looking Marine, a fine looking Terminator by any means, but I really wanted it to have more of a yellow look like this. So definitely a fun learning experience, but that's why we do these experiments in the first place. I'm always looking for new ways to paint yellow better, and that's why I'm real excited to try this burnt zenithal base. What I used here was burnt sienna from Pro Acrylic. It's my first time using it. Oh, Gabriel, you came back just like you promised. Thanks so much. So I used that burnt sienna base, and I'm real excited to see how it looks once I hit it with the Liquitex. So what I'll do is I'll put these two fellas off to the side so they're not in the way of the spray. And the one I'll start spraying first will be this, this larger Eradicator first. Now my plan is, all these four, the three Eradicators and the Judiciar, they have primarily yellow armor, so I'm going to be extra careful with how I spray the Liquitex. For the bro is yellow, just blood. I like it. Yep, Tau blood for days. Most of the armor here is covered by the robes, which I will plan on making brown. What I'll probably do is, I'll still try to limit the... thanks for joining us, Dataline. What I'll probably do is I will hit the Liquitex on the underside of these, me always keep promise. Thank you, Gabriel. On the underside of these armor bits, over here we have a shoulder armor. These gloves I'll probably make brown. What I'll do for that is probably Rattling Grime. So what might be good is just to dry brush the Morghast Brown over these cloth bits through the cloak and the coverings. That way we don't have to put the Liquitex to so much work. So here we go. We'll start out with this large Eradicator. Let me move these other ones to the side so I don't get the Liquitex in the way or get an overspray of Liquitex on them. So here's what we're going to do. When you're spraying with an airbrush, what you want to do is you want to put the medium in there first. The reason for that is the medium is a natural thinner. It thins out your paint. So airbrushes in particular are, they don't do well when your paint is thick. So if we start out by putting the thicker paint in there and then trying to mix the medium on top, the problem that creates is when you're using your little mixer, that'll push all the acrylics and pigments that you put in first that'll force it through the brush first. And since we started off with the thick stuff, I love pink. I love that username. I love pink too, actually. I have some Fulgrim pink right here. I have the new Princess Pink Speed Paint. And some Doomfire Magenta. That's not quite a pink, but it's great for these Zenithal coats. But as you'll see, tonight we are working with brown. So what I'm going to do now is, like I said a minute ago, instead of doing the full 2-to-1, we're okay using 3-to-2 mix of Liquitex and medium. So since we're just testing this out, what I'll do, to keep that 3-to-2 ratio, I'll put 6 drops of medium in here first. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Let's do one more. Lucky 7, why not? There we go, 7 drops. Hey, no worries, Gabriel. Internet happens. Like I said, I have Xfinity out here. So there we go. Let's see, gonna put the brush down real quick. Oh, don't spill, don't spill. Then I'm gonna pull out the Liquitex. So there we go, 3-to-2. I put 7 drops in there, so we're gonna put 2 drops of Liquitex in here. Let's count them together. 1. Oh, 2. Oh, is that gonna spill? Alright, I think we're good. Alright. And it looks like there's still a leftover spot of the burnt sienna in there. That's okay. That'll give it a little bit of transition. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mix this up. Oh, McDonald's Wi-Fi. Yikes. I hear ya. So there we go. We're going to... Got my little... I call it my mixing brush, but it's just a piece of a sprue I cut off. But it fits here in this hole perfectly. So there we go. We're going to give that a good mix. Make sure we work that medium in there all right. Thanks for joining us, Dilly. So there we go. We got that all mixed up. So then we will attach our airbrush. And then what we're going to do is what I call a backflow. So what we're going to do is when I turn this on, I'm going to cover this nozzle with my finger, and we're going to make some bubbles. That helps clear out some of the excess paint and excess ink to make sure that we're getting the thinned paint out into the mini. And before I start spraying the mini, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this test cloth just to make sure it comes out right. Maybe we need to add a little more ink. Maybe we'll need to add a little more thinner. For how much we pay for Warhammer models, this is why we want to test first. So here we go. Got it started at 35 PSI. And here we go. We're making those little bubbles. Yeah, Science 101. Yeah. It's a process, but it's a good process. Whoop. So there we go. That's some nice little bubbles. So let's try it on our test cloth. Make sure it comes out right. Oh, there we go. It might need a little more ink. But let's spray the model as a test. One of the important elements of a zenithal highlight is we want to hit it where the light is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it at a 45-degree angle to simulate natural sunlight. I'm going to do 2 quick test sprays. 1, 2. Oh, that didn't... Okay. I'm just going to go around the model slowly. There we go. Oh, I like how that's coming out. Just going to do 2 or 3 pumps at a time. Okay. There we go. So it does look like that is coming out nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. I like it. I like it. There we go. Look how it's hitting those highlights. There we go. I think we got that 45-degree angle up pretty nice. So then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to hit some of these lower angles. So we'll see here, this leg is sticking out from our model light here over top. We can see that it would hit the natural leg pretty easily. So let's go ahead and give that a nice spray. Here we see filling out the kneecap, filling out the side. Just give that a low and slow go. Getting all around the side. We're going to rotate our little plate slowly. You can either pay $20 for a little miniature Lazy Susan to spin your models around, or you can buy a pack of 100 paper plates for $3. I don't think I made the best choice, but I made the cheap choice. So there we go. We got a nice blend there. We're almost out of ink. But that white isn't quite right, so I'm going to add 3 more drops of thinner in there. 1, 2, 3. Let's actually do 6. 4, 5, 6. And 7, just to be lucky. Lucky number 7. And then we will add our 2 more drops of Liquitex. 1, 2. Okay, let's put this back to the side. Let's mix it back in. There we go. Almost looks like chocolate milk. There we go. All right. Oop. Time for that backfill. Coming from the top, 45-degree angle. And let's go. Oh, yeah, looks like it is. Hold on, I'm going to make myself some chocolate milk. Good idea, Gabriel. Let's just twist off this nozzle real quick. Make sure that Liquitex didn't gum up the needle. Yeah, no, it looks like it didn't. But yeah, that's why we do test sprays. Just make sure that everything's spraying correctly. Oh yeah, see, there we go. Now that we twisted off that cap, and bye, Gabriel. Have a good one. Now that we twisted that cap off and we're getting that test spray, it's coming out a lot neater. So here we go. Second round from the top, 45-degree angle. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, I might have put too much thinner in there. Let's take it just a couple sprays at a time. Ooh. Yeah, I think I did put too much thinner in there. Doesn't look too bad though. Still has that chocolate milk consistency. So there we go. Keep it at that 45-degree angle. See, there we go. Yeah, it's still a little too thin. I think it'll work though. Yeah, we still have the white on these upper raised edges. What I'll do to be safe is I'll put another drop in here. Let's do 2 drops actually. Let's give it that backflow. Chocolate milk. And there we go. Let's just do... Oh. Yeah. Let's put this guy off to the side, let him dry out, then we'll decide if he needs another coat. We'll go straight to the Phobos Lieutenant. We can get a little more forgiving with whether or not that Liquitex ink is white or not, because we'll be hitting it with the Morgasbone dry brush eventually. So here we go. 45-degree angle, and let's spray. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's coming out nice. Much wider, which is what we want anyway. So there we go. That, wow. Look at that. I'm very impressed with how that's turned out. So let's make sure we get the white on that armor, because that's where we're going to be hitting it with... Hi, Lexa! Let's make sure to get that white on that armor, because that's where we're going to be hitting it with our contrast paint. And then otherwise, this... Yeah, shoot! Alright, I think that's the blend we'll be looking for. The 4 drops to 3 drops. Yeah, there we go. I'm actually shocked how easy this one came out compared to this guy. So maybe I'll just give it a quick brush across the backpack since it... Hey, Gabriel, glad you're back. We'll give it a quick brush across the backpack because that's the raise point of the model. And then we'll put these 2 guys off to the side as we head to the Judiciar. Now, like the Phobos Lieutenant, it has a... Oh, made yourself some chocolate milk. Great job, Gabriel. Like the Phobos Lieutenant, this guy's primarily covered in robes, so it's okay if we're not as thorough with the Liquitex as the other guys. So here we go. We're just about out of slurp. So we're... Ooh, just sprayed myself. Don't do that. So we're going to go with our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to go with our 1, 2, 3 drops. Let's make sure we mix that up. Where did I put my mixing stick? Here it is. Oh, perfect. Well, let's spin that up. Make sure we work through that okay. Oh yeah, it's looking much more like regular milk now. Here we go, let's get that backflow going. Bubbly chocolate milk. Spilled some on your bed. Oh, sorry, Gabriel. So there we go. Get that bubbling. Get that bubbling. There we go. All right. Lock in at a 45-degree angle. And... Oh. We better do the test spray. Oh, yeah. That's looking good. Well, perfect. All right. So here we go. 45-degree angle. Wow. Yeah, that's coming out real easy. That looks exquisite. Thank you, Gabriel. So yeah, there we go. 7 drops of medium to 3 drops of Liquitex. That's the secret, apparently. Make sure to get that yellow armor good, because that's where we'll be putting the... That's where we'll be putting the yellow armor. Judiciars normally have big silver blades, so I'm going to cover up that old yellow with a little bit of Liquitex. There we go. I think I went a little too heavy on the robes, but that's okay because they're going to get dry brushed with Morghast bone instead of the love that chocolate milk. Yep. This is some good looking chocolate milk we got here. Gonna hit that corner of the sword again. Brian, thank you for joining us. We're making some unconventional chocolate milk here tonight. So there we go. We got these last two eradicators. So here we go. Let's count off our 8 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And our meet can share. Sound good to me. And let's do our 3 drops of Liquitex. 1, 2, 3. And now let's mix that chocolate milk up. Mixing that up good. We can share if I want some. Yeah, that sounds a lot more delicious than Liquitex ink. There we go. Mix it up. Perfect. All right. Now let's mix that backfill. Mix that milk up. All right. Then we'll move on to the test spray. Chocolate milk. Love that chocolate milk. All right. Yep, that Liquitex is coming out all right. So now we'll put this guy to the side and we'll do him on the test rag. So let's get a crackin'. Just gonna do it low and slow at first. Airbrush is set at 35 psi just to make sure it's safe. There we go. I think... Oh yeah, that's coming out real nice. Make sure to get those raised edges where the sun would hit that armor. Trying to get the gun a little bit. There we go. It might be a little too thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that set for a minute on this fella while I spray this fella. Going to add let's do 6 drops of medium this time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that chocolate? Yep. Look at that nice white. So I guess it's not really even chocolate milk anymore. It's just plain old milk. Here we go. 45-degree angle. And let's spray. Oh, yeah. Look at how it's fallen off the model. I think I did put a little too much medium in it. That's okay, though. What I'll do is I'll let it dry a second, then add a drop or two of Liquitex in there to... Perfect. Well, we'll let that set and dry a minute. And then we'll add... Yep, Wi-Fi. I hear ya. I hear ya, Gabriel. So here we go. Let's add 2 more drops of Liquitex. And we'll mix it up. Right, I know. Ooh. So that 2 extra drops shouldn't make it too hard or too thick. Welcome to the stream, Johnny. Right now we are working on adding some white zenithal to these brown marines. When we add the contrast paint later on, maybe not tonight but tomorrow night, we will add, that'll really help it define a yellow shape to the armor. Kind of like these guys. 3,300 likes. Thank you all so much. This is the first live stream I've ever done, so I'm real excited by how much of a community and how much fun we built tonight. So here we go. Let's do our test spray. There we go. That's coming out nice and white. All right, let's get this ink spraying. Oh yeah, make sure we hit it on the raised edges especially, because that's where we want that white to shine brightest. There we go. Me crying. Yep. What can we do with Wi-Fi problems? So there we go. That's all nice and liquidy. But yeah, we want it to be liquidy because it is called Liquitex, not the Hardex or something like that. So there we go. We're going to use the last of the Liquitex we have here to add a little bit of definition on these raised edges. Just be safe. I think we'll be good. Oh, it's looking so good. Finish off those gun barrels. All right. We are officially out of Liquitex, but I think these 5 models we did tonight look stellar. Yeah. Just use the little bit what's left. Yeah, I really like how the robes on the Phobos and the Juduciar came out. So yeah, what I want to do is I want to IDEK and thank you for joining us. We just barely finished spraying some Liquitex ink on some merge. So we have just a little bit of Liquitex in there. So we'll first wipe this out to make sure the pot is clean. There we go, just get that all out. And then we're going to take just a couple drops of airbrush cleaner to try to root out whatever is might be in that reservoir there. The reason we want to do that is because we don't want paint to dry in our brush. So here we go. Let's mix a little paint in there. Miss Miller, thank you for joining us. We're cleaning out our airbrush right now. So we got that backflow cleaning out the inside, whatever of the Liquitex may be left. Once we stop spraying, we can see that there is a little bit bubbling there to the top. So let's give that a little more oomph. Just make sure we clean that out. Yeah. And then we will wipe that all out. Oh, doesn't that look so much better? Just be safe. Let's take this cap off, this pot off. We can see that there's still a little bit in there, so we're going to take this Q-tip. We're just going to soak that up. There we go. Oh, look at that. We still got a little brown in there. It's looking much cleaner. If it sprays clear, then we're good to go. All right, we're all set. All right. So proper airbrush care. We're gonna separate it from the rest of the machine. We're gonna set that down. And then just be safe, because we're gonna undo this back, and we're gonna take the pressure nozzle off of the needle to make sure that the paint doesn't dry on the needle. So we're gonna take that out. Oh yeah, look at that, nice clean needle. No paint drying on there today. We're gonna set that there. We're gonna put the cap here so we remember where it is. And then we are going to make sure that the rest of the airbrush dries out well. We still have the other end of this Q-tip. So we're gonna... Am I the only one left in the live? Ms. Muriel is still in here. But yeah, I think I'm getting close to wrapping up for the night. Now that our airbrush is officially nice and clean. There we go. Take good care of your airbrush, and it'll take good care of you. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me tonight. Oh, Gabriel, I'm afraid I have to go, but I appreciate you sticking through the live stream. Keep following me, and I'll make sure that you'll get notified the next time I go live. Thanks so much, buddy. Thanks, everyone. Bye.